What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. I am Jason C. That's right, I'm back, better than ever. Had a fantastic weekend at Pours in the Park with the Bourbon Junkies and a bunch of other people in the whiskey community. I actually have one of their bottles here, which I'll be tasting through a little bit tonight from their new Virtue Spirits brand. So, yeah, a lot to get into tonight. I've obviously missed a couple weeks. Last week I was in Kentucky for the barrel picks that we did when it came to two Russell's picks, a Kentucky Spirit pick, which was pretty epic. Got to hang out with Bruce Russell, saw Mr. Jimmy Russell again in the gift shop, and then kind of spent a couple days doing that, which was a lot of fun. And then basically came home, slept, and then drove to Michigan for Pours in the Park. So last week was definitely crazy and nuts, but I wouldn't have had it any other way. I got to, hang out with a lot of fantastic whiskey people. So, people within the whiskey community. What is going on? Are we going to see a chair fall tonight? Maybe, possibly. We'll see. Let's say hi. Let's say hi to a bunch of you in the chat. Nick Foles came in and said, early bet batch 9 will win. Batch 9 was my favorite for a while before 12 hit. So we'll see how 9 fares out. Good round of old hot potato tonight. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I have 16, 22, 22B. 16 loses to both. Well, possibly. We'll see. What's up, Bill? Bill Kavanaugh in the house. Ham Turkey's here. EMC, Butter. Juice 8G. 15 is my favorite since it's the only one I own. Hey, that's fair. Batch 15 for the win, says Casey D. Anishar says, give my wife a blind fly. Turns out she likes Russell's Reserve 10 year more than she thought, and Tin Cup 10 year less. Okay, that's fair. Cheers all, I'm betting on batch 12. Okay. Cheers all. Rooster and Glass can't help but hear Allison Chain song in my hair. Here come to snuff the rooster. I know what you're saying, Justin. I got you. KCD, go Cubs. Yes, Mets suck. We'll talk about that a little bit. And basically the Mets just imploding the entire team because they have nothing to do this year. So that was a lot of fun to deal with as well. Let's see here. Let's see. Joey B is here. Joey P. There's Joey B. There's Joey P. Sipping on Peerless Double Oaked. Tim Cornet in the house, who I got to meet meet again, I should say, at the Pours in the Park event, which was awesome. Outside the Stars here, Jeep Man is in the house. J370 is here. Saucy Shane, what is going on, buddy? Jeff Perkins is here as well. Jeff Sayon is here. William Wiley in the house. Robert Lee. Let's see. More people coming in. Garrett B is here. Slop Shots Roadhouse in the house. Deborah C. Oh, I see the butterflies and the money bags. We'll definitely be talking about that. I have some thoughts. As you knew, this is why people are tuning in tonight. They want to see what I have to say about this whole Blue Run thing going down. There is actually a ray of light at the end of the tunnel, I think. But we will get into that. Mark S. in the house. What's going on, Mark? Giselle's Bourbon. Let's see. John T. and a bunch of other people coming in. Aaron C. And, well, I got a lot of catching up to do. I'm just going to jump to the bottom here, guys. Bourbon School in the house. Great channel. Guys, check out Bourbon School. Thanks for chiming in, guys. Paul P. is here. Saw 23A last week, and they wanted 250. Pass from me at that. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Luis Velez, first-time caller, long-time listener. Great to see you, Luis. I know. That's what you say, apparently. Mr. Mushnick in the house. Ben also got to hang out with Ben a little bit, share some great bourbon. Cheech, I saw Cheech and his wife Jen at the meetup as well. Awesome to see you as well, buddy. Jeff Kazad, Tim Romero, and mostly a lot of people. Nathan Jurgensen already jumping ahead. He says 22C was the best Stagg Jr. Okay, so first, let me know what you guys are sipping in the chat if you haven't let me know yet. And I'm going to get into this Essence Rye. So this is Virtue Spirits. This is courtesy of Dan and Sean for the Bourbon Junkies. I tried this rye at the initial VIP meetup on Friday night of last week and absolutely loved it. This was a really, really cool, just funky, different type of rye whiskey. And I'm really glad that they're bringing stuff like this to the, to the market, however way we get it, whether it be through their group, whether it be through online. Luckily, they had some of these left, and I was really impressed with this barrel. This is rye barrel number 2, I should say. And it's a single barrel of their rye whiskey. And I think whoever's doing their artwork is absolutely killing it. This is great designs. As a designer myself, I really do enjoy this a lot. So Love the purple too. Purple stands out. Let's see. Jeff Winbush is having Woodford Double Oaked. Whiskey Juice is cracking my 22A recently picked. Okay, very cool. Gonna pour a dram of Stagg B17 for this. Joe Wanninger in the house. What's going on, man? So this is I think I missed the super chat. Actually, let me go back up real quick. JG, finally got to meet JG in person. Him and his beautiful wife. Great meeting you, Jason. Whiskey cheers. Yes, finally got to meet Jay. I was literally like sitting down having something to eat, and Jay was like at the next table, and he just comes over. He's like, "Holy crap, you're here!" It was I think JG and I had a, what do you call it, a meet cute? Yeah, that's basically what it was. James Lay says, after last night, I'm doing some pineapple mojito donuts. Oh, someone's bringing out the Driftless Glen. Okay, so this rye, and I don't know if there's any of these left. I think there were some left through Bourbon Outfitter, but not sure anymore. This rye whiskey, it's a little bit funky, but in such a good way. It's deep, it's dark, it's rich. This is Indiana. This is MGP 95.5 rye. 7-year-old rye, 118 proof. So B17 is solid. Cheers, guys. Let's give it a try. Yeah, this is not a typical rye profile that you may think, like when it's like, you know, heavy mint, heavy, maybe heavy citrus. I think there's some of that citrus in here, but everything about this is just super rich and dark. It almost comes off like root beer, which I love in a rye whiskey. If you can get like a rye whiskey that's deep, rich, and dark, then I'm all over it. This bottle reminds me a little bit of the National Barrel Company pick we did last year, the Cherry Dr. Pepper rye. And I feel like this isn't so much Dr. Pepper as it is root beer to me, but it's root beer, it's cinnamony, but it's also got a lot of sweet, a lot of vanilla to it. And I think Dan and Sean did a hell of a job picking this barrel. This is really good. Doc Swinson's El Cuerpo Cask Strength. Oh, haven't tried that yet. James Lay, Jared Taylor here. I got an offer to trade a bunkered batch 15 for a JD 10. Thoughts? Nope. You know, Jared, I might do it for a JD 12, but not a JD 10. I would hold on to your batch 15 for sure. I think it's a better whiskey, in my opinion. Found the Stellum Rye Fibonacci blend #1. Looking forward to that one. That's a really good blend. Whiskey Juice. Is that oh my God? Is that Boss Hog in the house? What's up, Julie? Like, got to hang out with Julie a little bit and talk to her, and also Dan Like, two of the greatest people in the whiskey community. Absolutely love you guys. Pop 'em, don't watch him is here. What's going on, Troy? Nice to see you as well. We may be recruiting Troy to go down to the God knows where, Louisiana, and do a JT Mellick pick for the group. So looking forward to that. Let's see here. Love the JD 12. Oh, 4-Leaf Whiskey is here. What's going on, Columbus? I'm still sipping on Peerless Rye. Really become a rye whiskey fan. Okay. Nice. C-Trig 5. I feel guilty. Spent $275 on the Wild Turkey Masters Keep rum finished. I mean, that's retail. I mean, that's not terrible. It is expensive, but it's retail. Have you got your hands on a bottle of Lady Bird outside the Star? Lady Bird? No, can't say I have. Let's see. Yeah, keep the Stagg. Yeah, everyone's chiming in. Keep the Stagg 15. Absolutely. Krista Ginsburg in the house. Got to meet Krista, and that's I think that's Jay's wife, right? Awesome meeting you as well, Krista. It was just such a good weekend. So I don't want to get like too much into it because I think, you know, there's a lot of channels that have been talking about Pours in the Park over the last weekend. But I will say this. Dan and Sean, I think, did an unbelievable job. They always do, bringing the community together. They're huge cultivators of the whiskey community and building this strong bond that everyone has. I think, you know, they do their best to go above and beyond for everyone, make it, you know, as good as an event as it can be. And I just wanted to thank them for that. I did kind of a post on Instagram today to, you know, thank them outright for, you know, the amazing job they did and everybody involved. They had a bunch of volunteers as well. So it was a great time. So cheers to those guys. Now, I will say if you weren't able to go to Pours in the Park, if you want, I'm having my first event actually at the end of the month, and it's Master Journey Summer Jam. So me, along with Scott from my Bourbon Journey, we do our picks together, and basically we're putting on this little event at Sagamore Spirit in Baltimore, Maryland, called Summer Jam. We have about 20-something tickets left. And we would love to get those sold for everybody to come. If you do come, Friday will be a huge event at the distillery. Cater food, live music, cocktails. Sagamore is going to be rolling out everything they have in the gift shop for everybody to taste, which will be a lot of fun. And then Saturday we're going to be heading to the farm we'll have full live music there. We'll have a live cigar roller. And if you buy the full price ticket, you actually will get a bottle of our barrel pick that we did just for the event, which is a Sagamore Spirit bottle that nobody has released yet. So if you're interested in going, head on over to Eventbrite, look up Master Journey Summer Jam, and you can grab yourself a ticket. So if you want to join us, hang out, love to meet any of you watching. You get a gift bag. It's just a bunch of fun stuff. It's kind of my first event. It's our first event. I'm freaking out a little bit over it because I just want it to go well. But the more the merrier. So if you're in town or close to Baltimore, have nothing to do that weekend, it's the last weekend of this month, August 25th and 26th. So if you haven't bought a ticket yet and you're thinking about it, please do. I'll actually, if anyone has the link in the chat, any of the mods, you feel free to drop the link from Eventbrite in there. I really appreciate it. So while I'm drinking this, let's see here. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was so nice to finally meet everybody in person. Jason, I would love to come when my daughter starts school. Sorry, maybe another year, says Jeff Sayon. So yeah, I know it's a ADHD whiskey, Master Journey Summer Smash. Yeah, Matt, so awesome to see him again. There's nothing like getting a big bear hug from Matt at ADHD Whiskey. Love it. Tim Evans, got to meet him in person. Just everybody was just so freaking cool. Yeah, and I think, yeah, Julie, I think Julie and Chris are kind of talking, and it's one of those things where I felt like, I left, I left the Pours in the Park event, and I'm sitting here and I'm just like I feel like I didn't take any photos. Like, what the hell happened? And I feel like you kind of walk around, you're tasting whiskey, and you're just talking to everybody that you can, and the time just goes by. It's like the worst part about it, but also the best part about it, because you want to kind of capture those moments, but at the same time, you're also so happy to talk to other folks that are there that you've maybe never met before, that watch your channel and appreciate the content, and not just from me, but other channels that are there. And it's a big deal to all of us. We all put a lot of work into it. And like I said, we all continue to cultivate, grow, and protect the community as much as we can. So to kind of meet everybody that's passionate like we are about it, it's a very, very, very special thing. So I don't want to get all misty-eyed about it, because it is a really special thing. So, all right. Will you be reviewing Daniel Weller, Tony Silverback? If I can ever get a sample of it, I'll review it. But I don't get samples from Buffalo Trace ever. And I don't know anybody who has gotten one yet. Maybe I'll reach out to Fred Minnick. Maybe he could send me the rest of his. But he really liked it, so he probably drank it all already. Host got to have an event photographer. Well, you need are you putting in your services, Giselles? Have you tried anything from Indian Creek Distillery in New Carlisle, Ohio? You know what, Garrett? Somebody just mentioned that to me tonight. I was at an event here with the Central Ohio Whiskey Society. Kenny from Its Bourbon Pursuit was in town to talk about his bourbon, or his Pursuit United series, and his Pursuit United offerings that just hit Ohio not that long ago. And he was in town, and somebody had actually told me about it. I've never had them before. I'm definitely going to kind of keep that in mind. So let's see here. There you go. Tickets to Summer Jam. If you guys want to grab one, it is right there in the chat. Feel free to grab a ticket. It's going to be a great time. Okay, let's see here. So, I mean, immediately, let's dive into it. Let's dive into some news. And the first and foremost, I know Boss Hog is here. She'll get a kick out of this, but let's talk about Blue Run. And Molson Coors Beverage Company reached an agreement with Blue Run, producer of crafted bourbon and rye whiskeys. The deal is part Molson Coors' evolution as a total beverage company while providing Blue Run with resources to continue its growth. Based in Georgetown, Kentucky, Blue Run Spirits launched in October 2020, blah, blah, blah. Won a bunch of awards. Has gained international among whiskey experts and branding who love, okay. Forbes has called sneakerizing the bourbon industry with premium whiskeys that generate intense interest with each release. So here are the details, guys. As Molson Coors' first spirits acquisition, the addition of Blue Run boosts the company's footprint in spirits as it continues to evolve from its history as a beer company to offer more premiumization in its portfolio. Let's see. Okay, I want to get to... So here's the key. Blue Run's founders, Mike Montgomery, Tim Sparapani, Jesse McKnight, and Andy Brown will all remain with the brand. Montgomery will take on an expanded role with Molson Coors as its vice president of Coors Spirits Company. Bourbon Hall of Famer Jim Rutledge will continue to serve as the liquid advisor. Whiskey community rising star Shaylin Gammon, who came from Wild Turkey, will serve as whiskey curator for Coors Spirits. David Coors will continue to lead Molson Coors' full-strength spirit strategy and business. So, yeah, and there's no designated amount for this quite yet, guys, but that is the gist of the story. And here's my thing. I'm not gonna rant about this, but this is what makes me actually encouraged about it. Because the founders, including Mike Montgomery, who's kind of the head guy, he's staying on the brand. He's staying on to control it and try to continue to grow the brand. That's what when I first heard about it, my first inclination was these guys came in with their marketing, masters and MBAs, built this company, blew it up. It was a literal, just a masterclass in whiskey marketing. And they wanted to sell it for a shit ton of money. It's what Blue Run was built for. So I thought immediately that these guys are going to be gone, and that was it. All the control goes to Coors, and that's it. But I'm actually encouraged to see that Mike Montgomery and the rest of the team is staying on to continue to build the brand and see where it goes. As far as the distillery getting built, we'll see what happens in the future. Chances are it is going to get built, especially now. Because basically what Coors did was give them a huge injection of money. And this injection of money is going to allow them to do a lot of things. Expand, do more marketing, build that distillery, and see where it goes. Now, over time, if it shifts and Coors starts taking a little bit more control, other people that started Blue Spirits start stepping back, then my mindset may change a little bit. But when it comes to Blue Run doing it, you can't help but tip your cap to them for doing what they've done. Listen, it's not my favorite thing in the world, as you guys know, but I do respect them staying on after their company gets bought out, because if they just kind of cut and run, I think that would have been a real FU to all the people that latched onto their brand over the last couple of years. So there you go. That's basically my thoughts. So now the butterflies will turn blue when cold. Yeah, exactly. Boy, marketing with Blue Run and Penelope selling other people's bourbon is crazy. Can appreciate the hustle, but crap people should get in. Yeah. Well, the problem is that MGP is so big for them to get bought. It would take a hefty amount. You got to understand what it takes to buy a company like Blue Run right now or Penelope versus buying MGP. Got to remember, MGP doesn't just make whiskey; they make other things. They make a lot of different. Remember, it's Midwayne, it's Midwest grain products. So it's not Midwest grain spirits or Midwest grain. Yeah, they're not just making whiskey all the time. They make a lot of different stuff there. So to acquire MGP would take a lot more money than it would to buy like a Penelope or a Blue Run. But this also continues the consolidation of other brands and beer folks wanting to get into the whiskey market. Pabst is doing it. Now we see Coors doing it. Budweiser has already done it. And this is kind of the evolution. Look how many times beer companies were buying smaller beer companies when all the microbreweries started. Those companies were getting bought up millions at a time because they wanted something unique in their portfolio. Now these companies want whiskey in their portfolio because they feel like it's another way to reach different drinkers. So it's really just the evolution of where whiskey is going. Yep. Let's see how long they stick around. Also, Molson Coors is new to this game and need them. Exactly. I'm glad Jim Rutledge is staying on. I'm glad Shaylin is staying on. She's very talented. Obviously, she came from Wild Turkey. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Let's see here. You still have to hit the butterflies, Jason. Okay, Julie. Just because you're here and I love you. This is courtesy of Julie and Dan Like sending me a butterfly chime set. You guys have seen it before. Julie, this is for you. And blue drumsticks, mind you. Yeah, this is what happens. I love how you put it in the box and it just goes blah, blah. It just like kind of dies. I love you, Julie. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what that evolution brings, but I am happy that they're staying on the brand and working with it. They started it. They started this madness. I think they should see it through, and I'm glad they are. So cheers to Blue Run, and glad you guys kind of did that. So MGP has a market cap of $2.7 billion. Yeah, that's a lot of cheese to get in the game to acquire that. I took that as craft distilleries should be bought, not MGP, like Middle West, Onyx Glens, etc. I know Woodinville was bought, so it does have. Oh yeah, for sure. I get that too. I do think that there are some amazing craft distillers out there that we're going to continue to see be bought because there's a lot of great whiskey out there. I think it just depends on the profile. But Blue Run, on top of Coors, doesn't really know anything about whiskey, so Blue Run has a master class in whiskey, and they could probably help them with the beer a little bit too. So we'll see what happens. I never understood what the banquet beer means. Does anybody get that? The banquet beer? Does that mean like you drink Coors at a banquet? Who goes to banquets anymore? Does that still happen? Am I out of the banquet sphere? Like, how does that work? Coors, like whenever I see the commercial, Coors, the banquet beer. Like, do you drink it at a banquet? How does that work? Can somebody explain to me what the hell a banquet beer means? I think Coors needs to get rid. Blue Run needs to help them get rid of the whole banquet beer shit. I don't know what that means. Hey, Carlito Classico. Hell yeah. Jason will be falling on that wind chime later. Yeah, probably. I believe it's a grain. Banquet grain? Session beer. So that's what it means. So, okay, so session beer. I get that. The word banquet makes me hungry. Oh, man, banquet beer is old school. My dad used to drink that back in the 70s. Carlito says, dude, I got a Russell's single about 2 weeks ago and killed it already. Always happens so fast compared to other bottles because Russell's is the shit. I love me a good banquet. Google, after the mining boom ended, after 17 long dry years of prohibition in Colorado, Coors started using the name Banquet. Oh, thanks, JG. Okay. Clear Creek Canyon miners who drank it in banquet halls or huge banquet tents. That makes sense. Okay. Joe Wanninger, thank you so much. Cheers to you. All right. Speaking of beer, guys, I don't know if you heard. There it is. They're here. Goose Island launched the new Goose Island Bourbon County Stout beers, or they announced them, I should say. They unveiled the 2023 lineup. And if you guys can read the neck tags there, I'm not going to read all the tasting notes, but if you guys haven't seen this yet, this is basically what's going to be included. So there's going to be a Bourbon County brand Eagle Rare 2-year reserve stout. So this beer was aged in Eagle Rare casks. You also have the Angel's Envy 2-year finish stout. So it's an Angel's Envy 2-year cask finish. You also have the Bourbon County brand Bananas Foster Stout. That one, I'm not quite so sure about. It could be good, not really sure. Different types of almonds, cassia bark, and banana. All right. The Bourbon brand Backyard Stout. The Backyard Stout is made with mulberries, handpicked by Senior Innovation Manager Mike Siegel. Let's see. This year's edition is aged in bourbon barrels for at least a year, and then finished and blended with mulberries, boysenberries, and marionberries. Then you have the Proprietor Stout. which is inspired by rice pudding made with cassia bark, raisins, brown sugar, and toasted rice. This stout is the first Goose Island has ever made using rice as an ingredient. So we should see these here, right? I think it usually drops in here September, right when fall starts to kind of happen. And on Black Friday, I actually is when they really all start getting released, I think. I'm not sure if they any release before that, but Black Friday is usually the time that it releases. So I don't know. What do you guys think of this year's release? Any of you beer fans out there that are really interested in that? Like, how are you feeling about the flavors there? Mike is waiting on the Snosberry finish. Okay. Yep. Black Friday. I'm all in on Bananas Foster, says James Lay. Interesting to see how the pour finish AE barrels meshes with a stout. No 2023 BCBS coffee, and the prop sounds awful this year, says Eric Sawyer. I mean, I think there's only so many variants you could do. You have to get more creative and see what happens. It's interesting. But yeah, I mean, I love those things, and I'm always anxious to try them each year. I don't always get to try all of them, but it's nice to try some of them. So, all right, let's go to a couple of just quick stories here. This sounds terrible. I'm just gonna say it right now. No offense to any Michigan fans out there, but Charles Woodson is starting his own whiskey brand, and it's going to be the official whiskey brand of the Las Vegas Raiders, who he played for. I'm not going to get into to all the different ins and outs here, but I will tell you this is what the whiskey is. The Woodson whiskey launched in 2021. This is a 6-month-old. It's a blend of 6-month-old whiskeys, which the brand claims have been accelerated aged using ultrasonic waves. The actual whiskey in the bottle is from Kentucky and then finishes in barrels from Woodson's Napa Valley wine brand at its facility in San Diego. So that sounds awful. I'm just 6-month-old whiskeys that are accelerated aged with ultrasonic waves and then finished in a wine barrel from Napa Valley. That can't taste good. I'm just saying. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. That's rough. This is basically my oof. That sounds disgusting. No, that was basically my my thing. Oh my God. Like these athletes, and I'm not going to disparage all athletes and all actors, actresses, whatever they are getting into the whiskey game, but they need some guidance because that sounds terrible. And if he thinks that probably tastes good, more power to him, dude. I go with God, man. I don't know what to tell you. All right, next one up here. Let me go through my articles here. This is kind of an interesting whiskey. I don't even know how to feel about this one. Be cool to kind of get your reaction here in the chat. Jefferson's Tropics, aged in humidity. So that's what this says. Jefferson debuts a bourbon aged in the jungle. So the latest bourbon release from Kentucky brand, set to hit retail shelves this September, was aged in the jungles of Southeast Asia. The expression hosts a suggested retail price of $100 and is bottled at 52% ABV. They ship 720 barrels of matured Kentucky bourbon to Singapore. A keystone for Kentucky's brand is aging its barrels at sea, which the brand claims lends to the fair. Okay, blah, blah, blah. After making the journey to Singapore, the barrels of Jefferson's finished bourbon rested for an extra 18 months in a non-temperature controlled warehouse in the humid jungle. It then made its way back to Kentucky in the bluegrass state. Zoller cut it down with limestone filtered water and bottled the expression. I'm not really sure how to feel about that one. It's an interesting. Jefferson seems to always do interesting things with maturing and aging their barrels and their whiskey. That one, I'm not quite sure. How do you guys feel about that one? We have 343 people in the chat. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I miss you so much, and we're going to do a hell of a stag lineup tonight, so stay tuned for that. Please hit the like button while you're hanging out. Appreciate it, guys. Can't be mad at them for trying different things. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it could be, gimmicky, and I think Jefferson is kind of known for doing some gimmicky stuff, but who isn't at this point? I do give them kudos for trying something different. I would probably try that bottle. I would probably want to buy it or at least get a sip of it to see what 18 months in a humid jungle, you know, does to a whiskey. Yeah, jungle. It's official. Jefferson has officially jumped the shark. Bourbon, wait for it, aged in the jungle. I'm still waiting for someone to do my idea. Age a whiskey on a roller coaster. Put that shit, strap it in, whip it around like the Great American Scream Machine for a little while. Let's see what happens. Let's see how that shit ages. Just saying. That could be something. That could be something. Oh, Jungle Juice, JG. How did they not name it that? Come on, man. Jungle Juice is perfect. All right, here's the big one. Here's the big kahuna. Here it is. Maker's Mark, cellar aged. It looks like this is happening. This seemed to be kind of an April Fool's joke, it seemed, when it was first announced, but I think this is real. The side label of Maker's Mark Cellar said it's a blend of bourbons with 70% of it aged 11 years and 30% of it aged 12 years. So with that in mind, this should have an 11-year-old age statement. Today, most Makers is aged for about 6 to 7 years. And they say that, you know, when the bourbon is ready, it's ready, you know, based on their flavor vision, as they always like to say. Typically, we don't see this from Maker's Mark because they think anything over 8 years old tends to get over oaked. But this has been an expression that people have been banging the drum for a long time. It does show that it could be bottled at 90.6 proof, but we're not exactly sure if that is the actual proof. That could have been on the TTB. But knowing Maker's Mark, I would think that could be it. I will say this. I don't think that that's going to be as limited as maybe some people think it's going to be. Maker's Mark has a huge market share. They have a huge amount of bottles that go out all over the country. And I really do think that a lot of us will have a chance to get that bottle, hopefully. Now, what the distributors do with it is another story. But I think Maker's Mark, if that proof point is correct, if that 90.6 is spot on, then I think you're gonna see it pretty available. I think probably marked up, but available. I'm not a huge Makers fan. Is that like Wonka Vision? 94 proof on OHLQ. Jason, OHLQ actually has it listed already on the site. Yeah, I mean, I did see that. I just pulled that from another site that I saw. I bet 94 isn't. Yeah, they go low in the barrel, so 94 probably isn't too far. Are they trying to keep up with these? You know, I think, did you see the Elijah Craig Ryder Cup edition in European Oak? That sounds tasty. I did not see that yet. But again, I've been on the road for the last couple months, for the last like week or two, so I could have missed that one. I think this is going to be one of those expressions. Maker's Mark has to do something. You know, Denny Potter left, and so did their wood finishing guru. I always forget her name, damn it. You know, I'm not sure what they're working on, but we haven't heard from those two in a while. So, you know, it's like, where do they go next? They can't keep doing the wood finishing series. That's over. So what's next for Makers? Private selects are all over the place. So there's nothing really super unique about private selects anymore. So they have to do something. And I think this is Maker's Mark getting into the game. Everyone's been banging the drum for a high-age product. Let's give it to them. Let's see how it goes, and we'll see what that rolls up into. But I'm excited about it. Why not? Okay, next up, and this is kind of this beautiful bottle, Hardin's Creek. So Frankfurt, the Hardin's Creek Frankfurt edition, has started dropping in different stores near and far. So this is the latest edition in the Hardin's Creek lineup from Jim Beam. Now, the cool thing about this is that this bottle is one of 3 different releases in the Hardin's Creek lineup. If you guys haven't heard yet, this is Frankfurt. I think is the second one. The first one was the Claremont, and then I think the last one is going to be Boston, which is all different parts of Kentucky. Basically, this is just going to show how different maturation warehouses affect the Hardin's Creek and this high-aged bourbon that Beam is putting out. I already was a big fan of the Claremont, so I'm really looking forward to trying the Frankfurt and see how different it is. And this isn't anything groundbreaking. If anyone wants to see what a warehouse does from barrel to barrel, batch to batch with the same whiskey, just go get some different Russell's warehouses. They all taste completely different based on the locations. So, but I do like the fact that this stuff is about 15, 16 years old. So you get a really nice, like, dense flavor profile on top of it. I think they generally run for about 160, 170 bucks. I'm excited to try it. I was a huge fan of the Hardin's Creek last year, and I already like the Claremont this year. Frankfurt next, followed by Boston to finish out the trifecta. It looks like that Still Austin Cask Strength Rye has released. So excited about Still Austin. Love everything Still Austin. If you guys have not had anything from Still Austin, it's definitely worth checking out. Let's see what else. I think the last one we're going to talk about is this one right here. Barrel Rye. Now, this might seem like, another, rye whiskey. But in actuality, Barrel Craft Spirits hasn't really released a lot of rye whiskeys yet. So on Tuesday, Barrel Craft Spirits announced the launch of two expressions, their Barrel Batch 35, their bourbon, which I tried 2 weeks ago, and Rye Batch 4. Barrel Bourbon Batch 35, won a double gold, okay, blah, 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 all that stuff. Okay, Rye Batch 4 consists of a blend of straight rye whiskeys from Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, and Canada. So it's a 4 rye blend. The Indiana rye barrels were 10 years of age and blended with 14-year-old Canadian rye, which Barrel Craft Spirits says were chosen for their herbaceous qualities. 89% rye, 7% corn, 4% malted barley. The expression was bottled at cask strength of 115.7 proof, and it's going to be about $90 for selected retailers. So, and it just so happens I have a sample of it right here. So let's try this shit out. See what we got here. Oh, God. Oh, it's taped. I'm like, why doesn't this open? It's taped. That's why. I did not even see it was taped. Damn it. All right. So I'm just going to sit here like an idiot because I didn't see the tape at all. How are you guys doing tonight? Oh, I got it. Not too bad. All right. Figured it out. All right. Let's open this up. Let's give it a try here. Now, it says it's quite an herbaceous rye. So we'll see if it is or not. Here we go. I think Barrel Craft Spirits has absolutely been knocking it out of the park lately. They have been their last 3 bourbon barrel batches have been delicious. Very, very limited amount of Dickel flavoring in it, or Dickel, like, that flavor that you get that nobody likes. And I think it's been absolutely fantastic stuff. I chose my wife for her herbaceous qualities, and by herbaceous I mean her boobies. I'm just like picturing like Matt's voice saying that and how perfect it is. Her boobies. Okay, Matt, you're a freaking genius. All right. Yeah, I missed the tape, which means I'll probably fall off my chair later, so stick around for that gorgeousness. And this is herbaceous. It is for boobies on the nose. It's got a lot of rye spice to it for sure. A little bit of citrus, not much. This is really herbal. It's baking spicy. A little bit of licorice to it. Oh my God. Like fresh, like mint leaf. And it smells proofy. It smells hot. It's only 115.7 years old proof. 115.7 years old, I almost said. Here we go. Yeah, it's just getting better, guys. It's a really good rye. I mean, I don't know if I'd pay 100 for it. I don't think it's better than their batch 34 bourbon that they just put out, or 35 bourbon, I should say, that they just put out. That bourbon is Mexican hot chocolate in a glass. It's really good. Hey, One Mo Cast in the house. What's going on, One Mo Cast? I thought Dickel Rye was MGP. No, I was talking about the bourbon Saucy Shane, not the rye. Oh man, that's good. But honestly, I think I like the Junkies Rye a little better. I love that root beer darkness that it's got. Yep. So far, the Junkies Essence is winning the night for me. Oh, Whiskey Noah's in the house. Jason, see you in a few weeks. So I'm so excited you're coming, dude. Be great to see you guys. I know Kim will be excited to see you as well. Trying a little BJ #1 bourbon in the glass as one more cast. Yeah, their bourbons were pretty damn good for 5 years as well. All right, I'm gonna stick to that. I'm just kind of starting off the night with all these ryes. Jeez, we got to get into bourbon. But I'm gonna keep drinking this. And before we get into the whole stag lineup, because I know it's going to take a little bit of a while, let's look at what I saw on the TTB. What's to see at the TTB? Here we go. First one up, Woodinville Ginja cask finish. This is Portuguese Ginhinha cask. I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry if I'm absolutely murdering how to say that. So Ginhinha is a popular Portuguese spirit. And it's let's see, made from morello cherry sugar, secret mix of spices, cloves, cinnamon. Traces its history back to Calician friar Francisco Espinhera of the Church of St. Anthony of Lisbon. So this is sounds like a very cherry-forward, sweet type of finish. Could it be the next big thing? You know, like Amburana was? Everyone's doing it. I feel like everyone's doing rum now. I feel like everyone's started to get into Amburana, but I feel like everyone's got a rum cask finish now. I keep seeing new expressions with rum finishes happening all the time. Is this going to be the next one? What do you guys think? Ginger cask? Ginger. I feel like that's what that's like how New Yorkers say ginger. Yeah, you know, I like that ginger. That ginger tea is really good. Okay. 2XO, the next Dixon Deadman Oak series, is a French oak. So 2XO, 2 times oak. He says the French oak blends bold notes of coffee and cinnamon. Secondary edition of charred French oak introduced toward the end of the maturation. I'm always a sucker for French oak, so I'm excited to try that one. He also has the Kahiawa blend, and this is based on a vacations that Dixon likes to go on with his family in Hawaii. I think that's where I would expect that to be. So see, this is inspired by using stocks of his finest barrels, crafted using double barrel aging process as well. It's a nod to his happy place where I go with my family and friends to unwind and recharge. Sometimes you need to step off the grid. A couple more interesting finishes here. We have this one from Balcones Single Malt. Again, a single barrel finished in rum casks. So here's another example of rum that's going to be coming out. And then Cataleja, I'm guessing, Cataleja, which is another Texas single malt. Now, how this one differentiates is Cataleja it's a different blend. From what I read about it, it's all these different refill types of sherry casks. So they use Oloroso, they use PX, and a bunch of other different sherries, all matured together to make that finished single malt. So if you love sherry and you love Texas single malt, that's probably going to be something that you guys are going to want to try. Stranahan's keeps picking up the pace here on their higher age cask releases. Aged 12 years, Stranahan's Mountain Angel, except this is a port wine cask finish. So the last one that was introduced was a 10-year, which is actually this one. I have it right here. Well, this is the 10-year bottle. This one was also the Mountain Angel, aged for 10 years in new charred American oak. Now we have a 12-year that's aged in port cask finishes. So again, just the American single malt. This stuff just getting older and older as we move along. And then we have to, of course, we can't finish the TTB, without a good label from Good Times. So here it is, Good Times, heavy char, double oak. So not only is it double oak, but it's also heavy char, single barrel straight bourbon whiskey finish in 2 unique new char 5 American white oak barrels. So that's either going to be super sweet or super drying, I think. So there you go. That is that's kind of the news in the run of the night. So let's get to drinking some more whiskey here. All right, I have one more new bottle I want to crack with you guys before we get into the Stag blind. And it comes from the good friends here at Hard Truth. This is the High Road Rye Sweet Mash, and they sent me this bottle. So, full disclosure, guys, Hard Truth is, gotten to be really get to know those folks really well, and they make great whiskey. So this is the High Road. Now, I don't really know anything about this quite yet, so I'll just read it with you here. Okay, blah, 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 along with good. Okay, I just want to know what's in the whiskey here. Hard Truth Rye Road, Hard Truth High Road Rye Whiskey brings the same flavor complexity that fans of the original barrel strength Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye have grown to expect, but it is an easy to drink 93 proof that's perfect for every level of whiskey lover. Crafted for long evenings with favorite companions, quiet nights by the fire, and any notable moment of truth. The High Road is a route worth taking. Okay, so this is a lower proof take on their popular whiskey here. All right, let's open that up. And oh shit, I left the plastic on. I have so much power. I just ripped the cork out past the plastic. You can't even do it. Do it now. Get to the chopper. Okay. That was all the Arnold Schwarzenegger I could give you in just one quick moment right there. I'm just letting you know, guys. Amburana won't be dead until Basil Hayden does it. Jeepman 103. That is an absolute brilliant premonition. That could happen. If there's a big brand that's going to do another Amburana, it could be Basil Hayden. Could you imagine Basil Hayden at that low proof of Amburana? Oh, man. Hey, nerd, we are drinking Stagg. Everyone's drinking Stagg. Oh, it's South Carolina. Okay, it is South Carolina. Okay. I don't know. The way it read, it sounded like Hawaii, maybe. Okay. Thanks for schooling me on geography, because I don't know anything. Oh, Kiowa Island, South Carolina. There you go. Board of finished everything. Zzz. Okay. Let's see here. Amburana will never die. I'll forbid it, says James Lay. James Lay apparently loves it. Oh my God, the Franchies here. Fancy Franch. You got to see the amazing franchise. Glad you guys are here, and it was so awesome to see you this past weekend. Hard Truth. Let's see here. Kermit, Billy. It's not a Puma. Vats eating Billy. What? Drinking Stagg Jr. Bat 16 now. Okay. Let's try this Hard Truth. Let's see how easy it is to sip. So if you guys don't know anything about Hard Truth, they're based in Indiana. And their rye whiskeys at 2 or 3 years old are some of the most amazing rye whiskeys you're going to try. It's just, they're doing absolutely fantastic things. They actually use a carbon copy, basically, of the same still setup that Wilderness Trail uses. So if you've ever been to Wilderness Trail and you've seen their still setup, it's basically the same thing at Hard Truth. So they're doing all the right things, low entry proof, and they're doing great maturation. Indiana just gets just as much variation in their weather as Kentucky does. So it is super fruit forward. This is apricot and apple. Oh man, the nose is on tonight, guys. Jason Busey says, I came for the whiskey, I stay for the eye candy. Jason, man, I love you too, buddy. Ooh, that Todd rated the Master Drum. We tried that at the distillery. Yeah, Todd, I don't remember trying this at the distillery at all. We had a lot of whiskey that day, dude. Yeah, the chocolate malt is crazy good. Yeah, this is really easy to sip. This is a super sweet, easy sipping rye. I think like they're saying it is. Yeah, it's a very fruit forward, easy sipping rye whiskey. I think a lot of people would love this. The Hard Truth barrels are a little bit pricey. They can get to like, $70, $80, sometimes $90, which I think could be a little bit off-putting for some folks. But again, grain of glass, doing their own thing, until they start getting more stuff out into the market and getting more volume, stuff's going to be a little bit pricey, and that's just where we are in whiskey today. So with that, is it Stagg time, guys? Is it Stagg time? Whatever happened to Hot Buttery Rolls, says Nick Foles. Hot Buttery Rolls went on I think he went on a serious like weight loss journey, and you know, he kind of took a break off some whiskey, so he's doing really good now. I miss that dude. I hope he's doing well. Basil Hayden jumping on the bandwagon isn't surprising. Yeah, I think they would jump on the bandwagon like a lot. Like the whole bandwagon would be Basil Hayden if they got their hands on Amburon or anything else. Yeah, you still got that Brothers Bond. Oh, I do still have the Brothers Bond. Oh yeah, let's try a bourbon. All right, yeah, one more before the stag, guys. This is the Brothers Bond Cask Strength. So this is one of those celeb bourbons that that hit the market, and where is the? Oh, here it is. Okay, and I actually wasn't. I'm not going to say I was impressed with it, but I thought it was actually a pretty decent bourbon that you got from Brothers Bond, the original one. This is their cask strength variant, and I can't seem to open this shit. You know, why can't they just make it all perforated? Where's my knife? Use this. There we go. The pen is mightier than the sword. Yeah, it's the black tape all over again, dude. This is not tape. That was just really hard to break plastic. All right. So now I would imagine this is still young-ish whiskey. Probably, I think the regular variant of Brothers Bond Cask Strength, I think you're looking at 4 to 5 years old. This is 114.08 proof. This is hand-selected 70 of the finest Brothers Bond bourbon barrels. This expression is our bourbon. It's undiluted form, unfiltered, uncut. And let's see, this bourbon has complex, okay, I don't want to read the tasting notes. Distilled in Indiana. So this is MGP. I don't know the show, but I know it's like it was started by 2 dudes that play vampires in some show, something like that. But here is the label. Show that to you guys up close. Just a test of your bottle opening skills. Yeah, there you go. The regular bottle and bond actually has legit banana bread vibes. Yeah, I agree. I had plenty of Basil Hayden this last weekend. So here it is. What's the hidden barrel sample? Hidden barrel sample? Hidden barrel sample. I don't know what you're talking about. Hidden barrel sample? Oh, this one. This was the rye. This was the rye that I already tasted. Okay, we'll leave this here. So yeah, Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley. So those are the vampire dudes that started this brand. And you know, it's actually a decent bourbon, the regular Brothers Bond. I mean, I don't know if it stands out among like the heritage brands, but I mean, it's a decent whiskey. And if you're a fan of the show, I guess, you know, you probably want to drink it. Wow, it's super sweet on the nose. This is probably good. I'm having this now, leading up to the stag blind we're about to do. Try to see if so I liked 22A so much that I had to put it in a blind tonight to see if it takes down the 12. Now, I did compare it to the 12 in my review, but blind is best. You just never know. We'll see how it goes. The Bourbon Wrench. Reminder, tomorrow's an epic fundraiser live stream for fellow whiskey community members. Starts at 7 p.m. We have over 25 bottles, items to be given away. That is right. I think it's going to be run by the Bourbon Van. I'll be making a quick, be making an appearance on that. We're going to have a lot of great bottles, so everybody tune in for that. 7 p.m. tomorrow. Appreciate you posting that, dude. 23A? Is that? No, I think it's 22A, not 23A. Minnick likes them too, and he wants to bitch about your trains. Oh. Now, if this is... Now, I'm not sure which, like, barrel... I got to do research on this. I'm not sure what the barrels are. If this is the 21% mash bill of MGP or 30... Like, you could tell me... If you told me this was the 36% rye, I might believe you because it's extremely herbal. It's got a lot of herbal quality to it. And I don't think that's just because I'm coming off rye. I really do taste it. This cask strength, there's something a little bit off about it to me. I don't know if it's that super savory note that it's got, but I feel like, yeah, I'm not quite sure I'm digging this. This might need a little water to help it because it is. I feel like it's really tight. It's struggling to really open up here, and it is a neck pour, but I'm telling you guys, if you ever taste the whiskey, something just seems a little bit off, especially if it's a fresh pour. If it seems like it's a little bit bitter, if it's drinking hot, just get a few drops of water in it, and you'd be surprised at what it does. I always tell people to do it. Some people don't; they just refuse, they just ignore. But a couple drops of water, especially in a neck pour, can really do wonders for a whiskey that, it could turn into this over time. So, just a little words of advice. The water helped it a lot. It's still not a super layered whiskey by any means, especially for a cask strength version. It actually comes in very 1 or 2 note. It's a little bit flat. I feel like the proof down version actually has a little bit more going on than this does. But I don't know. I'll let it open up. I'm not super happy about it right now. Yeah, I don't know. 114 proof. It drinks hotter than that too. There's just something off to it. It's the finish on it. Front of the palate is really good, but the finish has like a little bit of almost like a sour note to it. That's just throwing it off to me. And yeah, I'm not digging that one. All right, well. All right, so Brothers Bond cask strength. That might be a try before you buy, but I don't even know if that would be a buy compared to, because that's more expensive than Rare Breed, and I'm definitely not buying that over Rare Breed. So, all right. Was waiting for the nope, still bad. All right, gonna get some water here because it is time for the ultimate stag competition tonight, guys. It is, yeah. So what we have is this 22A, 12, 22B, 15, 9, and 16 all going head to head. Those are kind of my most recent, I guess, favorite batches, 9 being the oldest. There have been some really good solid ones in between, but these are the ones that I selected that I think stand out. So that's what we're going to go with tonight. So let's pull them here. So these are all poured. These are all blind. I don't know what's in each glass. The stickers on the bottom will tell us what is what. And yeah, you talk about doing a blind tasting, guys. This is the shit right here. A bunch of stags. So if anyone did not see my review of Stag Batch 22A yet, I highly recommend you watch it because I really do dive into a lot of the details of what happened with 22A. But, if you don't want to watch it, I'll save you some time. Basically, what happened was 22A came out after 22B because of apparently a labeling issue. What some people don't realize with Stag, or just with some Buffalo Trace bottles, and a couple more words of advice and wisdom. On the back of the Stag bottle right here, there's a phone number. And, most of the Buffalo Trace bottles have that number on it. And it's basically a customer service line. So you can call up and you can ask the people on the phone about different aspects of what's going on with Buffalo Trace products. How old is the latest Blanton's? Now, you're not going to pull every single piece of information you can out of them, but they will, from what they can answer, they're pretty helpful. So I called the number, and basically what happened with 22A, this was from them, they said that 22A had a labeling issue. So the labeling issue had to get fixed, and that was, a shit ton of bottles to get fixed. So 22A in essence was bottled before 22B was, but because 22A had to get a new label put on it, 22B was released before 22A. So I know it's a little bit confusing to some folks. They're starting to see 22A. It's like, why is this releasing after 22B? It doesn't make sense. The whole numbering system is off now. I get it. It's confusing, but it's not that confusing. If it really was a label issue, then it was a label issue. So, all right. I thought batch 18 was really good. Batch 18. Yeah, I did like batch 18, actually. You know what? Let me pull up the Stagg batch numbers here. Just because I want to make sure that I have them all in front of me here. So Stagg Jr. info on every release here. This is a great article. Yeah, 131 proof for batch 18. So batch 18 was not my bottle, so I don't have that one. I did think that batch 18 did a really good job, of going back to what Stagg, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, no, batch 18 was the super savory one. I was a little bit on the fence with batch 18, but that's me. Okay, let's go through these guys. Here we go. Fancy Franchi's in the house, guys. The Phillies got a no-hitter. Great for them. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could talk about the Mets a little bit, but, you know, whatever. It's so the Mets a few weeks ago decided to trade the entire team away, including Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, and everybody else, and basically just waving the white flag on the season. We did get a lot of prospects in return, but in true Mets fashion, it's going to be a rough couple of years until all those prospects grow into fruition and actually end up playing the field. So we'll see what happens next year. But yeah, the Mets waved the white flag pretty early and said, all right, we're going to get rid of all these guys. So all this money they spent, all for nothing. Anybody ready for football yet? I'm ready for football. Ready for football. Saucy Shane says, batch 18 was not good in my opinion. All right, so let's try these. I'm just going to, whatever. I'm just going to mix things up a little bit more here because I want to. Take a little bit of water here again. Hey, Chris. What's up? Chris from Foregate is in the house. Got to hang out with Chris. Chris, man, always good talking to you and talking whiskey. Chris has a really great palate, and I feel like we definitely get really geeky when we start having conversations. Introduce you some really cool whiskeys over the weekend. So awesome to see you, man. Liddy Casanova says, yes, sir, I'm super sorry to get these for $50 in my market. Super blessed. Enjoy your work. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Liddy. I'm ready for college football. Roll Tide, baby. Go Stros. Filling my batch 15 tonight. Glad after. Okay. So as I'm working through this, guys, it's been a couple weeks. You know, I've been did 2 live streams in the last 4 weeks. You know, any Q&A you have, please drop them in the chat. Make sure you tag me so I can see it, and I'll try to answer your questions as best as I can. I do have a cool preview though for you guys. Not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. I've been working on this for a while. Dan McKee from Michter's. We're going to have our next Off the Still episode in 2 weeks. So Off the Still will be back in 2 weeks live with Dan McKee from Michter's. And I'm going to pepper him with every question I can, including, where the hell's your bourbon from? I know he won't tell me, but I'm going to ask him. And then after that, we're going to dive into everything that Michter's is doing, entry proof. I want to get down and dirty with Michter's and really find out what is making their bourbons and whiskeys so sought after. How are they able to, age stuff for 20, 25 years? And I mean, it's just crazy. So Dan McKee live here in a couple weeks on the Mash and Drum, Off the Still happening in 2 weeks. Mark your calendars. It's going to be an epic, epic night. So, all right. First one. Saucy Shane, ready? So if you guys are ready for Blendageddon, next week I will announce the rules for this year, everything you're going to need to know to get ready for Blundageddon of 2023. So you guys are working on stuff. Tune in next week. All the information will be posted. I have a little intro video for you guys, get you guys fired up, and we'll be off and running. So, man, this smells really good. This is just what I would expect from Stagg. Stagg Jr., whatever the hell you want. I really wish they just would have left it Stagg Jr., to be honest. The whole Stagg thing coming of age, I mean, I understand it, but it was so easy when it was George C. Stagg and Stagg Jr. Now it's like Stagg, George C. Stagg. You have to kind of differentiate each one, whatever. Cheers. Let's try the first one here. I mean, I think that the differences here, guys, are going to be minute, and I really need to kind of take my time and pick these out. This is what you would expect. It's a brown sugar bomb. It's really sweet, a little savory. But man, is that good. I don't know what batch that is, but it's freaking delicious. Shit. This year's Michter's 10 year is a gem. I think the Michter's 10 year is right now still in the running for me for my bourbon of the year. I think it's that good, to be honest. If I could, I would buy more of it. The Shanks was super solid. I agree. I think the Shanks this year was I liked it. This was the first year I liked it over the bomb burgers. But guys, the key this year is getting a Shanks, getting a bomb burgers, and blending them together equal parts and making the Shank burger. It is one of the best blends you're going to try this year. I shit you not. So if you guys have both bottles and you have not blended them yet, it is amazing together. Somebody's going to end up submitting that for Blundageddon. Watch. Yeah, these Stagg Jr. blinds are very, very, very tricky. Yep, the Shank burger. Jason, Paul P., here's a question coming in. Jason, a hypothetical for you. Aliens show up and take all your bourbon. What are you buying to begin your collection from scratch starting tomorrow? Dude, that's a really good question. I don't know how aliens came into it, but I like where you're going. Outside the Star, the same week I picked up 2 bottles of 22A, I saw batch 17 hitting a few other places, having first-hand knowledge from the distributor. The following week, 22B was on the market. Dude, that's crazy. The audio's cutting out. It's probably the music. Let me shut that off. Yeah, sometimes the music interferes with it. Let me try a different track here. Might be a little bit better. Yes, you got to do the Shank burger. John J. Bowman. All right, so back to Paul's question. Aliens show up and take care of all your bourbon. What are you buying to begin your collection from scratch starting tomorrow? Immediately, obviously, I would get all the turkeys. That's not even a question. Russell's 10, Russell's Reserve Single Barrel, Wild Turkey 101, and I'd probably get the Wild Turkey Rise as well to kind of kick off the collection. If it's available, I'd get as many Elijah Craig barrel proofs as I can. Let's see. I'm kind of looking on my shelves here to see what I would buy. I'd probably get a Four Roses Small Batch Select and a single barrel. I'd probably get an OGD 114. Probably get a Knob Creek single barrel 120 proof. From Old Forester, I'd definitely get a 1920. I'd get my Cooper's Craft for sure, because that is just one of my favorites. Probably pick up a Pikesville Rye just to have. I'd probably get a Sagamore Rye, a couple Sagamore Ryes. If it's laying around, I'll probably get a Remus. Maybe some Bardstown Origin Series if it's hanging out. You know, because I need a really good weeder. Maybe Maker's 46 cast strength if it's lying around. You know, I mean, that question makes you think how much good shit is actually out there these days. You know what I mean? Like, someone takes all your bourbon, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. There's so much good shit. The market is completely oversaturated with great bourbons. So now there's a lot of 4 to 6 year MGP out there, but if you kind of weave your way through that and find exactly some of the other gems that are out there, you know, stuff like K. Luke, stuff like Nashville Barrel Company that's making, doing some really cool, their matured NGPs are just seem to be a little bit above a notch of other people's. But yeah, Bardstown Bourbon Company. I definitely get a few scotches mixed in there. I'd probably get a couple of smoky scotches. I'd probably get my Bunnahabhain, so yeah. We are definitely not starved for... Yeah, Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof. How can I forget that one? All right, first one's really good. Trev, did you see me taste Jeff the Creed again last week? I bought another bottle, dude, because I wanted to see if it's gotten worse or if it's gotten better. And honestly, I think it got worse. Yeah, I might get a bottle of Blanton's. I'm only kidding. All right, second one on the nose. That one's really nice. This one's a little bit more oak forward, not as sweet. Holy shit, that's good. That's really good. I'm going to need a pen to kind of keep track of these. All right, 1, 2. Barrel-aged Malort. Hey, I'm serious. This is a serious question. Did anyone get to try the barrel-aged Fireball? Seriously. Did anyone buy it or try it? I'm curious. That was one of those things that everyone was like, I'm not going to get it. But like they went in like back channels and bought one and like snuck it home. They put it in a really large bag so nobody would see it. They double bagged it so you couldn't see through it and see what was in the bag. But people bought that shit. And I want to know if any of you, listen, if you bought it in the chat and you got one or got to try it, I'm not going to say anything about you. I promise. But if anyone tried it, I'd be curious to see if it tastes any different. Anyone get to try that thing? No mention of Buffalo Trace products because Jameson Meyer, there will be no Buffalo Trace products on the shelf. That's why I couldn't go out to the store and restock my stock with Buffalo Trace anything. The only thing I could probably get is Benchmark. Benchmark Single Barrel, Benchmark Top Floor, Benchmark Bonded. Those are probably the only 3 immediate Buffalo Trace products I could probably get. So... I mean, if we're talking today's times, that's what if all the aliens took all my Buffalo Trace shit, it's going to be hard to restock it because it's just not around anymore. Let's see. Justin Jenkins says, what are your mash bills of choice if you blended or created your own bourbon? So I actually got a chance to do that over at Sagamore Spirit. And I'm a high rye guy. I love high rye. So I would probably stay in the 70s at some point. Do a high rye, like kind of 18%, maybe even 20%, somewhere around there. And I also love malted, using malted rye in mash bill. So it would be like kind of a, 70-something% corn, malted rye, probably anywhere from 18 to 20, and then the rest finishing out malted barley. So that's probably where I would hang out as far as if I'm making my own whiskey or bourbon. I can't. Giselle's Bourbon, Boston. There's no Eagle Rare here either. Can't find Eagle Rare. I'm talking like walking in a store and finding it. There's nothing in Ohio. You could maybe get Weller in Ohio. That would be probably the one thing because I live in Ohio. I could probably go grab a Weller Special Reserve and a Weller Antique. If I'm waiting in line on a Saturday, that's probably the couple of Buffalo Trace products I can get. So I would add those to the collection. Why not? So 1 is very brown sugar. 2 is a little bit more oaky, still sweet. Pretty damn good. Hey, Women of Whiskeys is in the house. Deathless Dogs is here. Even aliens want your Buffalo Trace. Yeah, aliens are definitely waiting online in some store on Mars right now, waiting for their Blanton's allocation. For sure. All right, number 3 here. Number 3 is pretty rounded. William Wiley, he's got a question. Mash and Drum. Let's see what he says. What would you rather have generally? Stagg Jr, or EHT Barrel Proof? Personally, the Stagg Jr Batch 15 is better than EHT Barrel Proof Batch 11. I would batch to batch, William. I don't really know. I don't think that might be a good double base to do to see really what those differences are. I will say this. I think Stagg Jr, you get more variation from batch to batch, whereas Colonel Taylor Barrel Proof tends to be pretty consistent from year to year. You kind of know what you're going to get each year. And I think just depending on the stag that you're testing it against, I don't really think it's as much the Colonel Taylor changing as much as it is the Stagg Jr changing, or the Stagg, whatever the hell you want to call it. But I think Stagg Jr for me is probably still the pinnacle of barrel proof bourbons that I would go for from Buffalo Trace. Prozac says, just picked up a bottle of Penelope Valencia. Did you ever have a chance to try it? Excited to crack it. Prozac, yeah, man. If you like orange, you're going to love it. It's very orange forward. It's got a lot of citrus notes to it, a little bit of spice. It drinks easy. I know a lot of people that love the Valencia. Ooh, 3 has a little bit of a youthful note on the back end of it. Just a touch. Just a touch. Oh, it kind of went away there. Probably from the water, but man, 3's got a lot of spice. It's drinking a little bit hotter than everything else. I got to see Women of Whiskey. I got to see Will and Michelle Davilar, also Kathy Joe from Women of Whiskeys. They're going to follow me right after this, guys. You can definitely go check them out once we're done here. I think they're doing a little bit of a Pours in the Park recap as well. But it was really great meeting them in person. I love seeing Will and Michelle. I've known them for a long time. So it was really good to see you guys. And yeah, again, if you guys aren't doing anything last week of this month, go to Summer Jam, Master Journey Summer Jam, happening at Sagamore Spirit in Baltimore. I mean, we've taken a lot of time to kind of put this together. It's going to be a pretty epic event. The tickets are available through Eventbrite, so you guys can go check that out. Eventbrite has all the ticket information. Just search Master Journey Summer Jam, and you will be able to grab a ticket if you want. So, all right. So let me go back to A here. A is so good on the nose. Go to B. B is a little bit richer. I think 3 is somewhere in the middle. 3's got a really nice balance of sweet and spicy as well. Oh shit, William Davilar's here. Thank you, William, for joining the chat, dude. You said that you like to hang out on the porch before your wife goes live. I appreciate it, man. All right, let's go to the fourth one here. Number 4. So number 4 is a little bit muted on the nose compared to the others here. Wigmaster, if you can't get early times or Coopers, what's the closest thing? Old Forester 100, 1897, or 1920? You know what? As much as I love 1897, and I do think it's very underrated, I would still probably go for the Old Forester 100 signature because it's one of the best sub $30 bourbons you're going to find on the market. I have put Old Forester 100 signature against some other bourbons doubled its price point, and it not only sometimes does it beat it, but it also hangs with it. I mean, a $22 bottle of Old Forester signature goes a very, very long way. I'd probably lean towards Old Forester signature, to be honest. It's all about the value. I agree. Yeah, I think for some people, Old Forester 100 is better than E.H. Taylor small batch. Could totally see it. Okay, so 4 is pretty... I think the emphasis is on the spice and the oak, There's not a ton of sweet here for me on 4. All right, let's go to 5. Oh, holy shit. Talk about sweet. 5 all of a sudden, maybe because I'm coming off of 4, but 5 just brought it. Wow, this is brown sugar. It's like confectionery. Very sweet here. Oh, that's a good one, Richie Z. Old Forester 100 has that crushable factor like Cooper's too. Yeah, I think it does. Totally does, Dan. I would agree with you. Deathless Dogs, another great channel, guys. Go check out Dan. Oh, man. That one's really good. Number 5 has a ridiculous amount of sweetness here. Triple base, 1897 versus Old Forester 100 versus Cooper's Craft. You know what, Kenneth? I'm going to do that. I'm going to film that tomorrow just for you. And I'll have it ready for Friday. Man, this one has a lot of sweetness to it. Almost powdered sugar-like. That's really good. It's also got the spice, got good balance. I definitely like that over 4. It's pretty close. I mean, 1 is really good. I don't know. We'll see. Now I'm going to go to the last one here. Let me get a little bit of water here. That is a great idea. Let me go up to Kenneth Rathburn's thing here. I'm gonna screen grab this so I don't forget it. All right, last one. So here's the interesting thing about all these stags. There are, and I'm so curious to find out what's what, because there is a very distinct delineation between all of these. There are, I would say there's 3 or 4 that focus heavy on the oak, and there's more of a roundness quality to it. But the other few that are mixed in are a little bit brighter, sweeter, and have a little bit more of a like a brightness to it. So, you know, these stag batches, I think, just like Elijah Craig barrel proof batches, can have a lot of really just unique flavors to it. And it really just is going to depend on what you like. If you like a sweeter profile, if you like a little bit more oak, roundness to it, a little bit more of a balance. I'm always looking for a good balance between sweet, oak, dark fruit, dark flavors as well. Just, yeah, really crazy good stuff. Hey, Thrasher's in the house. What's going on, Thrasher? Got to meet Thrasher. Got to see him at the Pours in the Park event. Dude, so good to see you too, man. Tom Harper says, still think Knob Creek 9 for 35 is the best value available, and for the single barrel KC9 is the best value. Tom Harper, it's hard to argue that point. I think the fact that Beam has such a distinct flavor profile is what people tend to shy away from being like the best value, because not everybody likes the Beam profile because it is very nutty forward, or however you want to say it. Nut forward. That's not really a great thing to say at all. But yeah, it's hard to argue that point. And also, they just put I don't know if you guys noticed that recently, Knob Creek just put the age statement back on the rise. So now it's a Knob Creek 7-year rye. So it's a 7-year-old rye whiskey for like, what, $40? I mean, it is really hard to compete with those types of numbers. And I think the fact that nobody talks about them is because not everybody is a big Beam fan. That's what kind of puts it down a little bit of a peg. But man, it's like if Buffalo Trace ever did that, do you know how the frenzy would be? I mean, it'd be nuts. So yeah, Stagg Jr. is all high proof. Stay hydrated, King. Alfredo Jimenez Jr. I'm right with you, man. I'm a professional. Yeah, it's really a hell of a deal these days. Speaking of a hell of a deal, I have a review tomorrow coming out on this bottle right here. You guys remember this shit? IW Harper 15. All right, so You'll see my full review tomorrow on that bottle. But hear me out. IW Harper 15. I'm just gonna make a blanket statement right now, and you guys can react. IW Harper 15 in today's market is actually a high value. Come on. It's a high value. Listen, it's 86 proof, and I get it. But a 15-year-old Kentucky distilled bourbon for $100, and that's $100 here in Ohio. I think it's actually cheaper in some other states. I think some people could still get that bottle for like 75 to 80 bucks. But that bottle right there, for an 86 proof for 15 years old, and today, you asked me 4 or 5 years ago what I think of that bottle. Don't buy it, not worth it. 86 proof, $100. I'm not buying that bottle, even though it's 15 years old. But in today's market, that bottle has slowly creeped up the value train because of where we are. Listen, just for context, the Master's Keep rum finish was $275. That's a 10-year-old bourbon. 15-year-old IW Harper. Now, Diageo owns it, but that's basically distilled by Heaven Hill at Bernheim. And it's a 15-year-old product for $100. It's hard to argue the value of that bottle today. Plus, you get a killer, beautiful decanter-style bottle. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have never reviewed that bottle, and I saw it, and I could not believe it was still $100. So I snagged it immediately when I saw it here in Ohio. Literally yesterday, I bought it. So, yeah. Whiskey Uncensored, I'm telling you, Ben, what I just had from that, now, listen, I don't know how much these change. That is not bland or watery to me at all. Watery, I may give you. It is a little bit thin on the palate, but I think it's still full of flavor. I would put it right up there with some of the Tin Cup, the 14-year, the 10-year, some of those low-proof, high-age whiskeys, Elijah Craig 18, all of those. I think it go right up against it. But in today's market, listen, us as whiskey enthusiasts, we're going to go high proof no matter what. We like the higher proof stuff. But if you're a low proof person that doesn't want to drink anything 100 proof or higher, that's a really nice whiskey for the money. I will bring it to Sagamore. I just went back to 1, and 1 is just killer. 1 is so good. Okay. It's dense, it's dark, it's sweet, it's spicy. Yeah, one's really good. I actually think though I like 2 a little better. Let's see what 2 brings. It's thin due to the proof down. G-Man. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's only 86 proof. But I think the flavor it has, if you like ultra-aged Heaven Hill type profile, I think that's what that hits. Adam Hinson says 23A is coming out. Adam, how you doing, man? How's Florida? The next batch you would think is going to be 23A. But 22A just came out, so who knows? Man, 2 is close. 2 is real close. This is basically 1 and 1A. I think 1 has a little bit more punch to it, but 2 is right there with it. Doesn't matter what you say, taters still prefer Buffalo Trace. It's true. It is true. I think 2 is just a slight notch behind 1. 1, I think, is the bee's knees. 2 is there with it. All right, let's go to 3. KC Single Barrel beats KC 12, says Wigmaster. Dude, that's a bold statement. Is it the proof, though, that's doing it for you? Because KC 12 is 100 proof. KC 12 cast strength, I will say, even though it's rare, and I don't even know if they're still releasing those, but KC 12 cast strength is one of the best bourbons that Beam has ever released. The only problem is I think they released it once. I haven't seen KC 12 cast strength since the year they debuted KC 12. I don't know, but you guys tell me if you have seen more KC 12's cast strength. I haven't seen them since. I got one bottle of that thing, and I am milking it. I don't even touch that bottle because it's so good. It brings you back to like those old school KC, single barrel picks. All right, 3 does not measure up to 1 and 2, but 3 is extremely. That's one of the more fruit forward stags I think I've had. This is like that quintessential grape cherry note that you want in a stag. It's so good, but I think the finish and the viscosity of 1 and 2 are beating 3 here. But this is probably the most fruit forward one that I've seen. And this will be good for you guys. I mean, just to kind of see where those flavors lie when it comes to like fruit forward versus proofy versus brown sugar versus sweet versus oaky, all the stuff that comes in between. My last KC12 sucked for the first few pours. I have, I'm going to highlight this from James Lay. Went back 6 months later and killed the bottle. Well, there you go. Tim Evans says never saw it. Okay. Never seen it. I would gobble that up, though. They have enough 12-year-old whiskey bottle and give it what we want. Yeah, seriously. IW Harper is like $72.99 at Costco when you can find it. Is that the 15, Michael? Because if that's the case, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. Urban Ren says, I still have 6 or so 15-plus year KC picks, and man, best bottles out there, better than most of this crap coming out. I also paid $45 each, and there's that too. Yeah, I mean, Trev, everybody brings that up to me all the time about those old KC single barrels. It's hard to argue. You're just not going to get that. I mean, you go back in history and you think of like what Henry McKenna was before it blew up. When that was what was Henry McKenna like? Wasn't that like a $20-something bottle, $30 for that bottle? We were literally stealing from Heaven Hill. The old Heaven Hill 6-year, white label bottle and bond for like $16, $17. They changed that on us. Eventually, with the demand, there's going to come some price variation. Excuse me. So that's just what happens, unfortunately. But at the time, those Knob Creek single barrels were the best values ever in bourbon. And I don't care what anybody says. Those were the best values ever. Yeah, 4 is somewhere in the middle. Again, 4 has like the grapiness to it, the cherry. Really dig it. But I still think 1 and 2 are kind of on top here for me. Now 5 I really like. We're going to go to 5 here once I have a little bit of water here. Thrasher says, Master Drum, yes, 100% agree. KC Cast Strength was the best, and I drank through that bottle thinking it was going to be a regular release. I mean, yeah. I thought more was going to come out. I haven't seen it since. So, yeah, I have not even. I'm going to bring that bottle, too, to the meetup at the end of the month so people could try it. Because I think once the people have that shit, it is, all bets are off. It is so good. But there's just not a lot of it. If there's one, as much as I appreciate the Hardin's Creek releases, if there's anything I wish Jim Beam would come out with more, it's the KC12 Cast Strength. So if anybody from Jim Beam is watching, please make it happen. Thank you so much. All right, number 5. And the number 5 is, oh man, it smells so good. Man, which one is that? That's what's killing me. Wait, there was a question here real quick from Richie Z, the legend. Jason, a local buddy tipped me off to a Turkey 12, $200 at a fair price. Yeah, actually, Richie, that's a good price. If you're getting it under $250, that's a good deal, man. I would snatch that shit up, man. Whiskey, Wild Turkey 12-year. I bought 4 of them. I got more backups in my bunker. I love that shit. Get it. Corn and Whiskey had the twice barrel JD Rye Heritage tonight. So good. Dude, that Heritage is one of my favorite releases that Jack Daniels ever did. Ooh. Number 5 is right there with 1 and 2. It is. It's decadent. It's sweet. It's a little bit of cherry grapiness going on. Long finish. Syrupy. Right now, 1, 2, and 5 are kind of vying for my top spots here. Any of these 3 could make the top spot right now. All right, let's go to 6. Last one here as I kind of get through these here, guys. Hoodoo TV asks, best $300 bottle regularly available. Getting married next week in Vegas and need a semi-special bottle for it. Recommendations. A $300 bottle. The problem is, with your question, Hoodoo TV, is there's not many $300 bottle bourbons that are available, I guess. But when you talk about a $300 bottle that's available, man, that's tough. Guys in the chat, let's help this dude out. What do we got here? I could really only think of like $200 bottles. You have Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend if you could find one. Those can get up in price. If you could find the new Master's Keat from Wild Turkey, that's a $275 bottle and hands down the best rum finished bourbon I've ever had. Man, $300. Shit. I'm trying to think here, guys. You can go Old Carter. Old Carter can get between $200 to $250. Those are always great, but go Old Carter American whiskey. I think those are more worth it than the regular bourbons. So that would be my recommendation from Old Carter. As far as other special bottles, dude, if you could find the Michter's 10-year 2023, it's a $225 bottle. Dude, Michter's, you know what? Screw everything else I said. Find the Michter's 10-year 2023. It's one of the most delicious bourbons I've gotten to try in a long time. Just find it and get it. Hoodoo TV, that is your mission. Go find a 2023 Michter's bourbon. 10-year Michter's bourbon. And it's not 10 years old. It is well above. And when Dan McKee comes on in 2 weeks, I'm going to ask him exactly how old that shit is because I want to know. Shit. Doesn't Blue Run have a $300 bourbon? Yeah, thanks, Giselle's Bourbon. Yeah, that's real funny, dude. No. I will be looking for that. Many thanks. Yes, Hoodoo TV, that's what you want to get. I actually think the Gatsby from Rolf Gatchel that he recommended, if you could find the MGP, the Gatsby, the Remus Gatsby edition, that'll be a really special bottle too. So, yep. Michter's 10-year is $180 MSRP, but usually it's higher than that. So Durham Bourbon Emporium, yeah, it got that high. Man, number 6 is really good too. Man, this one brings you into this really deep, rich creme brulee note. So these two are kind of the outliers for me. Oh, I'm going to leave that there. These 4 I'm going to bring up. But these 2 are good, but I don't think they stand up to these 4 quite yet. So this was 3 and 4. So 3 and 4, I am moving to my 5 and 6 slots. No particular order here. I'm just going to kind of keep them where they are. It's not that they're pretty even keel to me, but these 4 are where it's at right here. This is what I have to try to figure out which one I like best. So we'll go through it here. For all you whiners, I'd also suggest Foregate and Burana. James Lay, no. I love Foregate, but I'm not paying $200 for an Amburana finish. I'm sorry. Joe Wanninger says, I got 2 of the 23 M10 at the distillery this spring. Burned through the first one and hid the second one from myself. See, nobody believed me when I said how good that Michter's 10-year is. Michter's 10-year 2023 is a ridiculously good bourbon. It is just dark and dense and rich, completely different than any other MT that M10 that I've had before it. I'm just telling you now, it's ridiculously good. All right, yeah, I did say Joseph Magnus cigar blend. That might be a good one too. But those vary so much from batch to batch. You know, I don't know. He could get a really savory one. He could get a really sweet one. Could get one in between. You never know with those blends. You got to kind of know going in. There's a 0.00% chance that's not on your top 10 list. Joe Wanninger, what are you talking about? The Michter's 10-year? JG says Blanton's. Come on, man. All right. One more taste through for the top 4, and I'll see if I can move these around and see what we got here. Number 1. Number 1 has all the things I want in a stag. It's got oak. It's got sweet. It's got spice. It's got the proof. It's got the Kentucky hug. It's got some real nice, like a really good texture to it. 1 is up there for me. Let's go to 2. Two might have a little bit more punch than 1 does. Every time I go back to 2, it gets better. I'm really digging 2 right now. Now this is actually 5 and 6. I moved 3 and 4 down here. So 5 I know I really enjoyed. Oh, 5 is just so sweet. 5 might be the sweetest out of all 4 of these. Actually, out of all 6 of these. Yeah, Joe, yeah. Michter's 10 is going to make at least my top 5 this year, for sure. Maybe number 1. All right. This is super sweet up front. But man, when it hits the back palate, I'll get this little punch of youthfulness to it. That's not stacking up to the other 2 here. Man. All right. And then this was the last one, number 6, which is now number 4 here. Yeah, this I'm going to keep right here. These are my top 3. Do I like 2 over 1, or do I like 1 over 2, or is 3 going to kind of sneak in? That's the question. All right, one more quick sip of water. We'll taste these 3 again, and we'll see where we go here. Hope you had a Z-Biotics before this flight. Off the record, is it really a noticeable difference? As Jason Mounts. For me, it is. It's not so much about. Listen, if you have the misconception with Z-Biotics is people think that it's not gonna like keep you from getting a little bit tipsy if you drink too much. That's not what Z-Biotics does. Z-Biotics helps you break down the enzyme in your liver that actually makes you feel, or actually that tries to fight you feeling groggy in the morning. So if you have a lot of whiskey and you wake up the next day and you feel a little bit like your head's spinning, or you feel like a little bit cloudy, or you have a headache, Z-Biotics actually helps you kind of fight that feeling the next day. But if you're just hammering down a bunch of stags like I am and not drinking water, not hydrating, not getting a good night's sleep, it doesn't matter how much Z-Biotics you take, you're going to feel like shit. So getting a good night's sleep and getting some water in between is definitely paramount. Thrasher, thank you so much for the super chat. Interested to see your rank. When I sent ADHD Junkie Shayla and the Turds a similar blind, GTS 27 came in first, but they put 12 and 15 tied at a very close second. 16 came in second to last. That will be really cool to see how this works out, because I'm not sure what's left in here. All right, so one more taste through for the top 3. 1 is so delicious. 2. You know what? 2 is good, but it just drinks hotter than 1. Some people might like that, but I think 1 is the more developed whiskey. I'm going to still stick with 1. Let's go with 3. Oh, 3 is so good. I think I like 3 over this one here. This might be my final ranking here. Oh, this is so much fun. I love doing these blinds, guys. It's just so good. Jason, Michter's 10-year 2023 or JD Rye Barrel Proof Special Release. Oh, dude. Juice! 8G, what are you doing to me? Wow, that's tough. The problem is that I don't know if Michter's will ever be this good again as it was this year. Jack Daniels, that rye release, again, even the single barrels that have hit as a regular release are really, really just, they are all over the map. Either they suck or they're amazing. The single barrel Jack Daniels rye that I reviewed was terrible. It was youthful. It was hot. It was not good at all. Now, after I did that review, a bunch of people sent me samples of theirs to be like, hey, dude, you should try a good barrel. Here's one. And they were right. They were much better. But I feel like you have to kind of weed through all the new Jack Daniels single barrel rye releases to find a really good one. However, the special release was special. Those are both special bottles, dude. I don't know. The only thing I could tell you, Juice, is do you like bourbon better or do you like rye better? If you're a rye whiskey fan, go with the Jack Daniels. If you like bourbon better, go with the Michter's because they're both special whiskeys. So there's no one's better than the other. It's what you like more. Let's see. Jason, is the bottle share at Summer Jam sponsored by Z-Biotics? It is not. It is not. We'll have some Z-Biotics on site, but it's not sponsored by them. Jason, have you gotten the 2023 JD Heritage Rye? Curious what that is like at 100 proof. I have not tried that one yet, David, unfortunately. What's wrong with Youthful and Hot? Oh, we were talking about whiskey. All right, Giselles. You need to take a nap, dude. I have 2 different bottles of the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Barrel Proof Rye that were sister barrel, and they taste completely different. Yeah, that's the thing, Saucy Shane. Those barrels are going to be really weird. Distillers have to be kicking themselves when a bigger channel like yours gets a bad single barrel. I mean, maybe. But I bought that bottle on my own, and that's just the card I was dealt, unfortunately. So these are my top 2, and we're going to see exactly what they are and see who wins here. We'll just call this 1 and 2. They're pretty similar on the nose. They're both very sweet. They got a nice little oak presence to it. God, this one is so good. Let's go to the second one. Oh, man. The second one has a finish that's longer than the first one. That might ring true a little bit more for me. Man. But one has, it's a little bit more rounded, so I'm not really sure which one I go with here. Let me just leave these 2 to the side for now. I'll go back and decide it, but let's find out which batches here were the first 4 that I kind of put in this order. So, Jason Mounts, what happened at the BJ's bottle share? Jason, I don't really know what happened. I did hear that something went down. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I'm not the one to you know, to kind of come up with something that maybe happened. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and try to, you know, I'm trying to figure out the word here. I don't want to speculate on exactly what happened. All I know is that some shit went down, some bullshit that, you know, that happened. And I hope it doesn't hurt Pours in the Park in the future. But I will say this. You guys know my slogan. It's not about the whiskey. It's the people you share it with. I think there are some people, unfortunately, that feel like it's all about the whiskey and not the people you share it with. So you kind of know what that context means. It means that some people get a little sloppy. They don't really know when to say when, and then shit goes down. So I really hope for Dan and Sean that nothing of this affects their future plans for Pours in the Park for next year. It really is an amazing event, and I'll tell you this from a planning standpoint, for someone that just got the Sagamore, that's setting up the Sagamore event, it really is my greatest fear. I don't want someone to get out of control that they ruin it for everybody else. I always feel like you have to monitor what you're sipping, monitor what you're drinking, know what your limits are. But sometimes it's hard because people are so generous in this community. They're just giving you whiskeys. But at the same time, I don't know what happened, so I'm not going to sit here and speculate. But I do hope that it doesn't affect any Pours in the Park events in the future for Sean and Dan, because they do an unbelievable job of putting it together. So, all right. So the first four here. So these two were they were good, but didn't really stand up to these other top four. So let's find out what this was. Wow, really interesting. So this is batch 15. So batch 15 and batch 22B are kind of in the bottom here for me, which is pretty surprising because I love both those batches. 15 I always thought was super sweet, but I think on the palate against these others, it kind of fell. I think sweet is all it's got. And it actually didn't really have the finish that I wanted. I think 15 people love so much because it's sweet and it actually drinks way under proof. And I think that's why people love 15. That's why I loved 15. I think 15 on its own is a ridiculously good stag batch. Then the other one, 22B, which I thought was really good, is this kind of gets stag back into, for me, it got stag back into like that super sweet, super like a little bit of that grapey cherry note, and all hitters in this lineup. Yeah, I mean, seriously. Jason Mount says those are the only two bottles I own. Rest in peace. Dude, they're not bad. I mean, you got to think though, Jason, out of all the stag batches that I have, these are my favorite. So all these are good. This is really just, nitpicking here. All right, so these two. Wow, this. So I would probably put this in. We have this in fourth place. Is batch 9. Batch 9, I think, was my first stag batch that I absolutely loved. Still love batch 9. It's just super balanced, really good, but it didn't have the punch that these first two did. Which is interesting because we still have batch 12 and batch 22A is still one of these top three. Let's go to this one. Holy shit. Wow, we have 385 people watching right now, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. My third glass here is batch 16. Batch 16, which I thought I didn't like as much as 15. But apparently, I love 16 a little bit more than 15. Again, when it comes to my palate, I look for balance. And as sweet as 15 is, I think that's what it is. It's all confectionery. So we have 12 and 22A in the top two, which is nuts when you think that I just got 22A and it's doing this well in this blind. Wow. Okay. God, this is you know, and this sucks because this is just gonna make, obviously it's gonna make 22A that harder to find. Let's see here. Have we truly had a bag Stagg batch though? As much as I hate on Buffalo Trace, Stagg is always good. Yeah, I agree, Trev. I think that Stagg is always good, but I think people always try to find like their best batch. And the thing with Stagg though is if you find one, I mean, people just light up. Like, they got a Stagg, I got one. It's amazing. There's no bad Stagg. There really isn't. And just because what I say doesn't mean it's gospel. 15, I could, 15 I kind of put in the bottom two, but 15 is a delicious batch. It's super sweet. All right, so these two, one of them is 12 and one of them is 22A apparently. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to take one more sip each here, guys. This one is so good. All right, let's go to this one. I don't know which one to pick. These are both delicious. I don't know, guys. I don't think I could really name a number one. I would maybe lean towards this one a little bit. And guess what? It's batch 12. Apparently, my palate is pretty set on batch 12 of Stagg Jr. But 22A, the newest batch that just released, guys, if you could find it, it's a pretty stellar batch. So again, just to kind of cap it off, batch 12, I think, by a very, 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 very slight margin is my favorite. 22A is an extremely close second place. Maybe call it 1B or 1A. We have 1A. Third, batch 16. Fourth, batch 9. Fifth, batch 22B. And last place for me was batch 15. I think the surprise here was batch 15. I thought it would do actually a lot better. But I think all batch 15 has is sweet. And I think that's why people love it so much. It is pure candy in a glass. But there's nothing else beyond that to hold my attention personally, whereas these do. So, dude, I mean, you guys know what we're going to do here, right? You guys... in search of 22A, Stagg is impossible to get. Show bottom glass. So yeah, so the bottom of that one is, let's see here. See if it focuses up. There you go. 15 last. Let's go here. You guys don't trust me apparently. Come on, focus up. Here it is. 22B. This one I said was batch 9, which was 4th place. There it is. Right there. Batch 9. 3rd place. Batch, there it is, 16. And here we go. My number 1 and my number 2. There it is. 22A. And still the reigning champion for me, guys. Batch number 12. Boom. There it is. And what? And what? So that means we combine all 6 to make the Stagg Voltron blend. I've made a couple Voltron blends in the past, but this is going to be the Stagg Voltron blend. So we're going to blend all of these together. Yes, yes, yes. Because we don't waste whiskey here. We do what we need to do. All right, let's put that aside here. Perfect. Glad I got 2 22As. Jeff Hawk, yeah, you did good, buddy. You did good. Mix all of them to create a stag blend. Yep, that's what I'm doing. Super blend. It's the ultimate Voltron stag. All right, guys. Next week, tune in. Next week, we'll have something. I think I have a pretty fun idea. We might do something with like kind of the NFL draft. Maybe gonna try to put something together for next week. Then the following week, mark your calendars. Dan McKee, Michters, live off the still happening. We're gonna ask him all the questions, including where the F do you get your whiskey from? I know he's not going to tell me, but we're still going to ask him. So, guys, thank you so much. This was a fun night. Obviously, went through a lot of news, a lot of labels. Go check out Women of Whiskeys right now, following me. And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey. It's the people you share it with. Thanks for hanging out tonight, guys. Had almost 400 in the chat tonight, all night. So, love you guys. See you next week right here on the Mash and Drum. Cheers, guys. I'll tell you how this is real quick. Hold on. You know what it tastes like? Stag. Ooh, it's actually pretty damn good. There's no way this could be bad. All right, guys. I'm going to sign off. Cheers. Love you all. Take care, guys.